The last thing I actually remember was saying to him, I think I'm going to pass out. And when that happened, I found myself in a place, it was all dark where I was, didn't feel like afraid of the darkness. Everybody always wants to know, like, were you afraid? Like, no, nothing about it was scary. There was no feeling of like bad energy or entities or anything around. It was just that it was dark. And it felt like I was at the bottom of like the ocean. It was so vast and there was nothing else there but just emptiness. And when I looked up, I can see like light coming in and I could see like waves. So that's what gave me the feeling like I was like in the bottom of an ocean, you know? So I immediately wanted to go towards the light and I just had to think it. So as soon as I started like wanting to go towards the light, I was going towards the light. The more I stood in front of them is the more like I was so intrigued by the light. And the more I looked at it is the more I understood what it was. And I started seeing it in everything else. So I could see that that light, it wasn't just them, but that light was the essence of all things. The light was love. It was life, truth. I mean, everything. The light was just everything. And I understood, I guess so many things, but because I stayed there the longest in that place, a long, long time, just understanding. And even like after I thought, why was I there for so long? And I think it's because I had to really understand what light and love, you know, really are, like what life is. All of a sudden, I was just being pulled away from everybody. Because I mean, it was so many people. I never thought I had ever met that many people on earth. And it was so many people and I was being pulled away. And then it got to the place where I was like 8. It felt like 8 years. That's what I would call it. It could absolutely not have been 8 years, but it felt like I was being pulled like 8 years after dying. I remember the whole time I was being pulled back, I could still feel that connection to my husband and my children. And right around the 8-year mark, it like faded. And it just became a memory. Like I was just a memory. I was fully aware that they remembered me, they everything, but we couldn't feel each other anymore. I understood that was that whole dimness that that I was explaining. It's like at that point, it's like I was so far that it wasn't as bright. It wasn't as tangible, right? Some people may experience like, you know, a loved one passes away and you still kind of sense them around you. You could still, then all of a sudden, like after 3-4 years, that doesn't happen as often. Some of the things. So, for example, one of the very first things I experienced when I went over was my life review. The only way I could explain it, because people always want to know, did you see God? You know, and the answer is not the way, not the way that probably people imagine it. I was very aware of where I was. I knew exactly where I was, and the presence that I could feel with me, I knew exactly who this present was, and I would say, this is God. That's what I would say. But there was no like bright lights. There was no person in a robe, you know, angels, nothing like that. It was just like, okay, I'm here and we're going to do the life review. I fully understood that this is when we do the life review. So that let me know you've done this many times before. No one can convince me that we do not live multiple lives. Because when I got there, the first thing I knew was, okay, this is where I see what I've done. And I had my full memory as to what I came to Earth to do. I also had like a feeling of just peace and like safety. Like there were no thoughts that came into my mind of fear of judgment or worry or anything like that. It was just like, okay, I know what's going to happen here. We're going to see how I've done. And then it's going to be, you know, not even like judged in a bad way, but it was like it's going to be looked at, you know, analyzed, weighed is what I called it, because the presence that was with me is the one who put the lives in front of me. When I say the lives, it's actually slides of my life, of this life in front of me. So I saw it was like this coming in front of me, but like little like frames of light, each one like almost like a card dealer, like how you deal cards. It was like that from when I was born. And then there would be another frame, another event, another, and it just kept going like events up until that present time. I was looking at everything and I was feeling like, yes, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Oh, that was good. That was good, you know? And then I knew like when it came to the end, and this is why I call it felt like a weighing, because it literally was, I was expecting for it just to be like measured, like, yes, this is good. Instead of what usually would happen that I remembered from my other lives happening, something different happened. All of my slides of my lives just came together and they just kind of like just disappeared. Like they just came together and I'm like, whoa, that never happened before. That's different. And I remember thinking, okay, maybe that's because all of these great things I did were by the power of the Spirit. So I understood that clearly. And after that, I actually came back into my body.